Good morning. Last lecture we started with what unit? CFG, and we have solved some examples how to construct grammar for given language or given DFA. Today we'll see some more examples and we'll have some more concepts. What we are going to see the sentential form, then derivation tree or parse tree. What is derivation tree, parse tree? How to construct it? Then ambiguous grammar. What is mean by ambiguous? This point is explained in the last lecture as well. What is ambiguous and why it is ambiguous? Then we'll see the simplification, how to simplify the grammar. So we'll just see the steps, whatever is possible. 3 steps are there: eliminating epsilon production, useless symbol, and eliminating epsilon useless production. So start with sentential form. Sentential form, what is it? It is any string which is derivable from start symbol. On in CFG we have a start symbol, whereas in finite automata we have start state. Here we have start symbol, and from start symbol, whatever string we can derive, that string is called as a sentential form. Here you can see, if you want to derive this string a plus a into a star from given grammar, then let's say these are the strings which are generated in between e plus t into f, e plus f into a, f plus a into a. These all are sentential form along with e and a plus a into a. How it is? Also, for given grammar, there may be some productions are given, and for those productions, you can generate some strings from the given grammar. Just wait a minute. I'm sharing the screen. So in the previous lecture, we have seen some examples. These are the examples. We have constructed the grammar. We have seen this example of derivation tree, how to derive any string from the given grammar, and what is the ambiguous grammar. So if given grammar is e plus e, e produce e plus e, then a produce e into e, and a produce a. Then if you want to construct or derive a string, let's say a plus a into a. From the start symbol e, what we have to do is either we can have e plus e, or we can have e into e as a first string. We have both the options. Then expand it. then E plus E into E. What I have done, I expanded this symbol, non-terminal E. Then again expand it, E plus E into A. This A is replaced by its production A. Then again replace this E, E plus A into A. Replace this E, it is A plus A into A. Now whatever all these strings are there, all these strings, they are the sentential form. String which is derivable from start symbol. Here start symbol is E. Start symbol is E. So string derivable from start symbol is called as a sentential form. Algorithm, derive string. So string is equal to start symbol. What are the start symbol we have? Yes, E or P. What are the symbol is given as a start symbol? Repeat the steps. What are those steps? These steps. Choose any non-terminal in string. That means production from the start symbol. Find productions with this non-terminal which we have selected on the right hand side, and replace that non-terminal with all its production. Whatever possible production is there, with that we can replace the non-terminal. So it will produce non-terminal or terminal. Replace the non-terminal with options available on the right hand side and repeat this until we get the required string. That is a simple algorithm how to generate the sentential form. This is the example how to generate sentential form. Now this grammar is ambiguous. This grammar is ambiguous. Why ambiguous? A into E. This is another option which we have. From the E, we can have two productions. Two options are there, E plus E or E into E. I can replace this E to E plus E into E. Again, it will be replace this E, A plus E into E. Replace E, A plus A into E. Replace this rightmost E, A plus A into A. So another possible derivation. Now we have constructed this string. The string is constructed using the productions of given grammar, and we have replaced some alphabets, non-terminals. Now, if you see what I have done, in this case, second case, I have replaced leftmost non-terminal. Leftmost non-terminal. Here I have replaced rightmost non-terminal. Rightmost non-terminal. This is left sentential for left derivation, and this is rightmost or right derivation. What it is called as leftmost derivation or rightmost derivation. Rightmost derivation. So we have two types of derivation form or derivation, leftmost and rightmost. Replace leftmost non-terminal, then it is leftmost derivation. If we replace rightmost non-terminal, then it is a rightmost derivation. So if you find, let's draw derivation tree for this one. E, from E we have the production E plus E. Replace this one E. Let me write here multiplication. E plus E. Then again replace this E with A. This is leftmost. Then plus is there. So A plus. To the right of plus it is E. Replace with A. It is A. Then redid this multiplication. And then again right hand E replace with A. So it is A. A plus A into A. This is derivation tree. Same way, we can have another derivation tree. E plus E, where we have to replace rightmost. E into E. Then what it will be? Replace with A, and this with A. Read from left to right. A plus A into A. Same string. Both the parse trees or derivation tree generate same tree, same string, as we have more than one parse tree. So this grammar is called as ambiguous grammar. This is called as ambiguous grammar. What is derivation tree? It is a graphical representation for the derivation. What we have derived? A plus A into A. For that, there is a graphical representation of the given production rules for given CFG. Grammar is given. For the given grammar, we have derived one string, and for that string, we have more than one derivation tree. What is that derivation tree? Graphical representation of string generation. Very simple way to show how the derivation can be done to obtain some string. It is also called as a parse tree. Derivation tree is also called as parse tree. It follows the precedence of operator. The difference is parse tree follows precedence of operator. The deepest subtree travels first. Whatever the deepest depth, we know there are depths and levels of tree. So at some level there are number of nodes. At the lower depth, again some more number of nodes will be there. So the operator in the parent node has less precedence over the operator in subtree. All the operators in subtree will have more precedence than operator in the parent tree. Properties of parse tree. Root node is always node indicating the start symbol. So we always start with the start symbol. And that start symbol is root of the tree. If you go to the parse tree, subtree of the parse tree, then in the subtree also, whatever the root node is there, it is a starting symbol for that particular subtree. Derivation is read from left to right. So we have done that one. Leaf node is always terminal. At the end, whatever node is there, which does not have any child node, is a leaf node, and leaf node is always terminal. It will not be a non-terminal. Non-terminals will be further expanded. So terminals cannot be expanded, and terminal will be always at the leaf node. Interior nodes are always non-terminal nodes. They are not terminals. This is what derivation tree and parse tree. So same is represented here. E is having some productions. Instead of having single terminal from E, it is ABC. To generate the string A into B plus C. Try to solve this one. E is equal to E plus E. Same productions are there. E produce E plus E, or E into E, or A, or B, or C. What do you want? A into B plus C. To derive this one, start with the start symbol. Then, as on the left side, we need multiplication. Consider this one. You can consider first one also. Let me write here E plus E. Then expand this part. On the right hand side of the multiplication, we need plus. The second production rule we can consider for the rightmost E, that is E plus E. Expand this E with the production rule E plus E. Now both symbols are their operators and three non-terminals which can generate A, B or C. Further expand it. A into E plus E. A into B plus E. A into B plus C. Same way, the second can be used. E into E plus E. Now I can expand this one. A into E plus E. A into B plus E. Then A into B plus C. So here you can see that we have two derivations, leftmost and rightmost. Two derivations can be generated and two parse trees can be generated for same string, for same grammar and same production rules. This grammar is ambiguous grammar. That is what ambiguous grammar. The context-free grammar is classified based on the number of derivation tree and number of strings. So how many strings it can generate and whether we can have more than one derivation tree for single string, or we will have unique derivation tree for each string which is generated from the grammar. So depending on number of derivation trees, it is subdivided into two types. One is ambiguous, another is unambiguous. Ambiguous, which we have seen the examples, where there are more than one parse tree or derivation tree, then that grammar is ambiguous. Whereas another way is it can have more than one leftmost derivation tree or rightmost derivation tree. More than one leftmost, more than one rightmost derivation. Then also it is called as a ambiguous grammar. So this example we already seen what is the ambiguous grammar. So we can create two parse trees for obtaining any string from this grammar. You may consider ID, you may consider ABC, or you can consider only A, and then try to find string with operators A plus and multiplication. So you can see two parse trees are there for same string ID plus ID into ID or ID plus ID into ID. Two parse trees for single string from same grammar, from same start symbol, same production rules. Grammar is ambiguous. Some more examples are there. This one. Yes, produce AS, yes, A, epsilon. Now, how to identify whether grammar is ambiguous or not? Here you can see that the symbol on the left hand side of production rule. Symbol on the left hand side of production rule, that is E, produces E plus E or E produce E into E. Symbol on the left hand side is capital E, as well as symbol on the right hand side where the production is E plus E. Now in that case, leftmost symbol or rightmost symbol, it is E. It is recursion. It is called as a recursion. Symbol on the left hand side of production rule is present on the right hand side of the production rule, and it may be leftmost or rightmost symbol. Also you can check yes produce AS or yes A. Don't consider epsilon or terminals. Forget about terminals. Yes produce AS or yes A. Again, yes is on the left hand side of production as well as on the right hand side of production rule, and on the right hand side it is rightmost or leftmost. So left recursion or right recursion. This is called as a left recursion or right recursion. The non-terminal appears as a leftmost symbol or rightmost symbol on the right hand side of production rule, plus it appears as a non-terminal on the left hand side of production rule. So here, yes produce A, yes, or yes produce A. This yes is there and this is yes. Same non-terminal, or yes produce yes A. Again, same non-terminals. This is leftmost symbol here, and here it is rightmost. So right recursion or left recursion. And when grammar is ambiguous, you will find this property, left recursion or right recursion, and we have to remove this one. The recursive property we have to remove, then only grammar will become unambiguous. Now it can be done. Let me show the example. This is given grammar where S is a start symbol and it produces epsilon AS or SA. In this case, I have to remove this part. Now what S will produce? Find out what S produces. It may produce simply A. If we replace this S with epsilon, then it is A. Again here, if we replace this S with epsilon, it is A. Or if we replace this S with SA, it is ASA. We may replace this with this S with AS. So again it is ASA. These are the possible productions. So A is there. One time ASA or ASA. It can repeat, or what I can do, A, then replace it with same AS, or yes, A is there. So replace this yes with same yes, yes, or yes A. It may be yes A. So it is repeated. A is repeated. Instead of this, what I can write, yes produce AA or AA or epsilon, or it is simply A. This you can write or you can skip it. Here you can write A produce epsilon, so that what it will do, if we replace this A, it becomes A. So how you write the production rule depending on that, whether to include A or not, small a, it depends. Now what A will produce, if you have to generate same strings, then what A should produce? Yes, anyone? How to match the string? You have to match this string. So what it should produce? It should not generate new string. It should generate strings which match with original string or original grammar. New grammar, simplified grammar, after removing recursion, and given grammar, both should generate same strings. That is what you have to do. That is what removing ambiguity from the grammar. Okay, just think over this and let me know if you find the answer. If you don't, I will explain it. But try to find the answer. That is ambiguous grammar. And these are some examples of unambiguous grammar where there is no recursion. Here you can find Now, why this is not recursive? Because we have yes along with L. We have another non-terminal along with original terminal, non-terminal. That is L produce L yes or L produce yes. And here yes produce L. So start symbol is not repeated here. Same way here yes produce AA. Now A produce AA or A produce B. Start symbol will not repeat again. That is what ambiguity is not present. So apply this concept. Start symbol should not repeat. Then it becomes unambiguous grammar. Apply this logic to the given question for this one. How to find unambiguous grammar. I have solved it 50%. You have to just write production for A. Just write the production for A. It becomes unambiguous grammar. Here you can repeat A. Here you can repeat A. Okay. So we have seen what is derivation tree, what is sentential form, parse tree, the properties of parse tree, right? So these are the examples of derivation tree. An ambiguous grammar. What is ambiguous and an unambiguous grammar? Then simplification. What is simplification? There are 3 steps. Remove epsilon production, remove unit production, and remove useless production. Or use not production, it is useless symbol. Useless symbol. What is useless production? It is unit production itself, or any production which is not used in deriving any string. Simplification is nothing but removing this type of symbols or productions from the grammar. Epsilon production, there should not be any epsilon in the grammar, or epsilon production should not be there in the grammar. Second, it should not have any unit production. What is unit production? So yes, produce epsilon. This is epsilon production. Yes, produce A. One non-terminal producing another non-terminal. This is unit production. And what is useless symbol? Yes, produce A, or let's say B. B produce small b, and capital A produce, let's say A or AA. Now here, B is not reachable from starting state. Start state is yes, but B is not reachable. We cannot reach to B. On right hand side of any production rule, capital B is not present. So this production rule is of no use. Remove this production rule. When there is a production rule like this, yes produce capital A, then whatever A produce, it can be produced from yes. Remove this A, and whatever productions we have, let's say A, or let me write B. So yes produce A and B. Now instead of A, here you can write yes. A yes or B. We are shifting these productions of A to starts to the left hand side of production rule, or whatever the non-terminal is there on the left hand side of production rule. So yes produce A, whatever production rules of A are there, shifted to production rule of yes. And yes produce epsilon, wherever yes is there on the right hand side, Replace that yes with epsilon. We get some new production rules. Use those production rule as a part of grammar. Consider them as a production rule of grammar. So epsilon production is removed. That is what simplification. Each variable that is non-terminal and each terminal of G appears in the derivation of some word in L. So it appears in some word of language L. And we are replacing non-terminals with the terminal. But somewhere in the sentential form, during derivation of a string, it will appear somewhere in the right hand side. That is useful. If it does not appear, then it is of no use. There should not be any production as x produce y, that is unit production. Capital X produce capital Y. One non-terminal producing another non-terminal, then it is of no use. And if epsilon is not in the language, then there need not to be in the production of production as a part of production rule of a grammar. So if epsilon is not part of language, then only we can remove it. If epsilon is a part of language, we cannot remove that epsilon production. Remember this point, it is important. For all the grammars, we cannot remove it. For only those grammars where language does not consist of epsilon as a string, we can remove this epsilon production. So these are the properties of grammar, which is reduced grammar or simplified grammar. So by removing this, what we do, we remove the unwanted symbols, extra symbols, and we reduce the length of grammar. It will not reduce the length of language. It will not reduce the strings, number of strings. Only thing it changes is the length of production rules or the length of grammar. That is the only change in the CFG. Now let's see. So here you can see T produce AAB, ABA, or AAT. Then A produce AA, B produce AB or B, and C produce AD. Now in this case, C is not reachable. This capital C is not reachable from T. Where start symbol is T. From T we can reach to capital B or capital A. From capital A is reachable. From capital B, we are not going to any non-terminal. And capital C is another non-terminal, but it is not on the right hand side of any production rule. It is not on the right hand side of any production rule. So C is useless symbol. Capital C is useless symbol. Remove this production rule. By removing this and by considering remaining production rules, we will get same number of strings and it will not have any effect on the total number of strings. Where it is solved, but what it states, variable C will not occur in the derivation of any string. Capital C does not occur on right hand side of the production rule, so it does not appear or occur in the derivation of any string. So the production C produce AD is useless. We'll eliminate it and other productions are written in such a way that variable C can never reach from starting variable T. So that remaining productions will be as it is. Another production, A produce AA. Now A does not terminate anywhere. A is not terminating. It will always produce AA, small a, capital A, small a, capital A. That way it production. It is not going to terminate anywhere. So it is again useless symbol. The production A produce AA is useless because there is no way to terminate it. We cannot terminate this production. It is infinite in the length, so it is of no use. So if it never terminates, then it can never produce a string. As it cannot produce a string, this production can never take part in the derivation of string. So remove this production. To remove useless symbol A producing small a, capital A, we will first find all the variables which will never lead to a terminal string such as variable A. Then we will remove all the productions in which variable B occurs. Now, from T, we reach to this part, A. As we are removing this one, as we are removing this part, we have to remove A on the right hand side because there is no production rule for A. So remove production rule where capital A occurs on the right hand side. Wherever capital A occurs on the right hand side, that production rule need to be removed. The only remaining productions are T produce AAB or AAT, then B produce AB or B. So it produces small letters and those are terminals. What will be the remaining production? In this case, what it is? AAB, capital B, or AAT, then capital B produce AB or A. This is the production. These are the production rules of grammar after simplification. And what is the simplification? Removing useless symbol. So we have removed A and we have removed C. Two useless symbols are removed. C is removed because it does not appear on the right hand side of any production rule. A is removed because it never terminates. It never terminates. It always produces this one. So it is A or any number of times A and at the end again A. So A plus capital A. And for this capital A, there is no terminal. There is no terminal. So we have to remove capital A. So this is what? The useless symbol and removal of useless symbol. Second, remove epsilon production. To remove epsilon production, replace this non-terminal wherever it appears on the right hand side and whatever new production rules are generated, add them to the original grammar. Consider this grammar. Yes produce x, y, x. X and y are both capital. Then x produce 0x or epsilon. Y produce 1y or epsilon. Now here we have two productions which are epsilon production. X produce epsilon, y produce epsilon. Replace capital X on the right hand side of all the production rule wherever X appears, and whatever we get as a remaining part of production rule, it will be new production rule in the grammar. Here we can see, replace first X, it becomes YX. Replace second X, it becomes XY. Replace both X, it becomes Y. Then replace, now Y is also producing epsilon. Y is also producing epsilon. So replace Y, so it becomes XX. Replace both X and Y with epsilon. So S produces epsilon. So here we get new production. S produce Y, S produce X, S produce XX, then S producing XY, S producing YX, and given is S produce XYX. So these are the new productions that we have to add. These production rules will be added. Then here X produce 0x, replace right hand side X with epsilon. So it becomes X producing 0. X produce 0x, X produce 0. That is the new production. Then for Y, it becomes 1 because Y is replaced with epsilon. So it is 1. So new production is Y producing 1Y and Y produce 1. So here, what we get? These production rules are the production rules required for new grammar after removing epsilon production from the grammar. All new production rules are added, and existing production rules are kept as it is. Here it should be X, Y, X. Along with this, S produce X, Y, X. This is removal of epsilon production. And then unit production, as I said, here it is S produce C or B produce capital A. One non-terminal produce another non-terminal. On the left hand side and on the right hand side of production rule, we will have only one non-terminal each. So remove these productions. How to remove? Replace this S. In the first case, S produce C. Replace C with its production 0, 1. And remove this production. Instead of S producing C, it will be S producing 0, 1. B produce A. Now replace this A with its production 0S, 0, 0. 0S, 0, 0. So here you can see what is the new production rule. S produce 0A, S produce 1B, and instead of C, it is 0, 1. Same way for B, S produce 1, B produce 1, and instead of A, it is B produce 0S, B produce 0, 0. Remaining productions will remain as it is, C and A. We are not going to remove them. Here in this case, we are not going to remove A and C. They will remain as it is. Only the case is we remove unit production. We removed S produce A, we removed S produce C, and we removed B produce A. Two production rules are changed, and we added new production rules for S and B by removing unit production. So this is what simplification of grammar. Remove unit production, remove useless symbol, remove epsilon production. Useless symbol, unit production, and epsilon production. When we remove all these things from the grammar, the resultant grammar is called as a simplified grammar. That is called as a simplified grammar. So apply these things on the grammar, apply these steps, and find simplified grammar. But on the question, you have to apply this. Find simplified grammar. S produce A, B, A or B. A produce A, B or epsilon. Produce B, A or epsilon. Then C produce C, capital D, and D produce small d, and S produce capital D. So for this grammar, you have to apply simplification step. Apply simplification step and simplify this grammar. Remove unit production, remove epsilon production, and remove useless symbol. Remove useless symbol. There is a question. Simplify it. Okay. The lecture is scheduled at 10. It will not be conducted. I will post the time in the afternoon, at what time I will be conducting it, whether today or day after tomorrow. I will inform you when I'm going to conduct it. But at 10 o'clock, there will not be any lecture of TOC. Will not have lecture from 10 to 11. And your next lecture will start at 11. Timetable is changed from today, and my admit is posted on the group. So yes, it's posted on group. You can go through it. Some changes are there in the timetable. Batches are merged, so you will have combined practical sessions, and some changes in the lab timing. Lectures will be of 1 hour from today onwards. So just go through the timetable. Lecture schedule at 10 to 11. It will not be there for today only. We'll see whether I can conduct it at 4 o'clock or before that. Accordingly, I will convey it on the group. That's it for today. Just wait a minute. I'm sharing the attendance link. Till that, just solve this question. Link is shared in the chat box. You can mark your attendance and then you can leave.